Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Diet Culture Can Fork Off. And today's episode is all about breaking that all or nothing cycle. This comes up so much. I can't even express. I think probably the majority of people I speak to are struggling with being all in and all out perfectionism that's really holding people back from moving forward. So that is what I want to get into today. For anyone that's joined us that is new to the first episode, I am Becky, and I help women over 30 who are stuck in diet cycles create that food freedom and feel confident in their bodies. And that's without obsessing over the scales or missing out on living their lives, because you've got to live your lives, guys. You cannot, honestly, I've been in that place where you were obsessed. I was just thinking about this actually. I used to be obsessed with thinking about food, thinking about my body all the time. And I did have my own struggles with all or nothing cycles. So how I help women now is I do that through my one-to-one empower coaching or my Misfit Club group coaching too. So to start this episode, I'm going to ask you a really powerful but difficult question. But I really want you to think about this. And I'm sure you have heard this a million times before. It's not going to be anything new, but I really want you to think about it. If you think about, if nothing changes right now, if I keep doing the same things, every day's the same, I keep going all in, all out, falling off track, as I have done for maybe the past few years, where would you be in 3 months' time? If you keep going down this path, where will you be in 6 months' time? Where will you be in a year's time? Will you be saying, okay, I'm still stuck. I'm still in the same place. I'm still in the same position as I was last year. Are you going to be feeling more miserable? Is it going to impact your health, mental and physical? Think about, if nothing changes, where will you be? Where is this path that you're on taking you right now? Because this is what I see all the time, women that are you're smart, you're capable, you've got careers, you've got families that you're juggling, responsibilities that you're juggling. You are so powerful, but when it comes to your own food, or your body or your habits, it's all a bit messy and chaotic. You're either all in or you're completely feeling like you're off the rails. There seems to be no middle ground, and it's exhausting. Like I said, I know how it feels to be in that place, because you're constantly thinking about, right, I need to be good. This time is going to be different. I'm just going to, I'm going to stick to it. I'm not going to eat any crap. I'm going to really focus on making sure I'm having all really healthy food, not eating too much. You get a new exercise program. You're like, right, this time I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to do it 4 times a week. And you're all in. You get all motivated, and stick for it for a week or two, and you're flying. You're feeling great, but something happens. Maybe it's a stressful day, or you have an event. You miss a workout because, family responsibilities, stuff going on. Maybe you've got a deadline coming up with work, and your time is a bit more used in other places. I can't get my words out. You had a bad meal or a treat or whatever you want to call it. And then suddenly you're like, right, I've ruined it. It's all gone out the window. I've messed up. And you press the fuck it button. You're like, well, I might as well just give up completely now, because I've already had that. And it spirals. But the worst part of that is it's not just the impact that has on you physically. The biggest part is how it affects you mentally. That self-doubt creeps in, the negative talk, thinking that you can't stick to anything, that nothing works for you, that you're a failure, maybe you're the problem. All this negative thoughts come up. And it's exhausting, because you're going around the same loop over and over and over again. You get yourself psyched up, this time will be different. You pour so much time and energy into it, and then it all seems to fall apart as soon as a hurdle is met. So that's what I really want to talk about today is, you feeling this way. And like, I really want to express how, like, I speak to so many women every day, and you are not alone in these feelings at all. The all or nothing mindset, the yo-yo dieting, why keep ending up back at square one? And more importantly, I want to talk about today is how you can finally step out of that. Because you absolutely can. But what needs to change is the approach, okay? And from my experience, we're thinking about this all in the wrong way. Like, it's not about willpower. It's not about discipline. Like, I see posts about that come up so often, and a lot of people that I speak to say, I just need more discipline, I just need more willpower, because that's what we're believed, like, or that's what we're told to believe, that that's what gets us out of this. But it's not. But I'm going to explain what is. Because first of all, let's talk about like how this all or nothing cycle actually feels. Like I mentioned, it's exhausting because you either feel like you're on it or you're off it. And when you're on it, you feel good. You're like, yeah, I can stick to this. I'm doing really well. And when you're off it, that's when that negative self-talk comes in. You're telling yourself, well, you're a failure. You're not worthy. You're not good enough. All this kind of negative thought starts spiraling around your brain because you're setting yourself up for, I guess, this expectation of everything being perfect. And life is not linear. Like, it's not like we don't have the perfect circumstances all the time. Like, we're busy. We're probably busier than we ever have been in our like whole existence. Like, women like are working, you're looking after their family, you've got lots of responsibilities. There's a lot of pressure on people nowadays to work harder, to hustle, and where does that come from? Like, and if you look at like even people, when you are working as well, most places are under-resourced, so there's a lot more responsibility on you. And when you are looking after so much, it means you sometimes, and like you as the priority falls down. You're putting everyone else first. Which of course, you're caring. You want to make sure everyone's looked after, but that doesn't mean that you should be putting yourself at the bottom of the list. But yeah, there's this feeling of like, oh, right, like I said, you're on it, you feel good. And then when you're not, it's like this self-narrative of feeling like you're not good enough, I'm a failure, blah, 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 comes in, which is, it has a negative, when you're feeling in that negative space, it does affect a lot more like how you're showing up. It affects like how you feel, how you're like, how you want to set up for the day as well. And it's like how this happens as well. It's like I said, when you have busy life, and we can't keep everything perfect. Not every day is going to look the same. We have unexpected events pop up, and sometimes we've got a rush, or we have like what we consider a bad meal because we're running around, we haven't had time to prepare, so we just grab something. But then that becomes a bad day, a bad week, and then it spirals. It's like, oh, I've ruined it now, so I might as well give up, and then you spiral into it. My key thing about this is like, you wouldn't just go into, like, say you broke a plate in your cupboard, from your cupboard, you wouldn't then go and smash every single plate. That's where like this is what happens when you spiral. It's like, oh, okay, I had something, something I shouldn't have eaten. Now I feel bad, so fuck it, I'm just gonna go and eat everything in the cupboards. That's the metaphor for it. You're deciding that you're just going to smash all the plates now. So I like to put things into that. I always like a visual cue, because I think like you can then laugh at yourself and be like, yeah, actually that's like quite fucking ridiculous. Why am I doing that? But the emotional toll as well. Said it is. I keep saying it, but it is exhausting. And I know because I've been there. You feel mentally drained. You're like, oh, I can't do this again, but I need to, because I feel miserable how I am, but it's quite a lot of energy to go through it yet again. So you're constantly like negotiating with yourself as well. Like, oh, if I have that, then I'll burn it off later doing this. It's always this like back and forth, like conflict. Like, even me talking about it, you can see how much energy that's taking up from you right now. No wonder that you're so tired. there's this lack of like, you start losing that trust in yourself as well, because you like, you're like, I don't like, how can I have this stuff in the house? Or things are busy, like, oh, I'm just not good enough, like again, like I don't have the willpower, I don't have the discipline. So you start losing that trust, and that's where like that negative talk comes in as well, feeling like a failure. But there's a lot around here as well where when you start to lose the trust, you're scared to commit to anything else, because what if you fail again? And this is something that actually comes a lot with people in my messages and my DMs. I've spoken to a lot of people that are like, I really want to help, I really want to do something about this, I love your approach, but what if I fail again? What if it doesn't work? But what if it does? What if it does? What if a different approach actually works? But I understand if you've tried everything, like the diets, the plans, and nothing ever sticks, you start to think that you're the problem. And it can feel a bit of shame and embarrassment that you're still struggling. But honestly, it's not you. Like, a lot of the diet industry is very short-term fixes, because it sells. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's easy to sell, and that's why I don't promote selling fat loss, because even though women that I work with, their body composition start to change, I don't want to sell like, oh, you're going to get like X amount of weight loss in X amount of time, because for me, what I want is to help you have sustainability and longevity, like not ever feeling like you're on a diet, and actually helping you have long-term habits. It's not so sexy to sell, but if you have been stuck in this cycle, it's what actually is going to break out of it. Not another short-term fix, not another diet, not another exercise plan. You need to actually work on that mindset side. Because at the moment, I understand like that fear of failure can really hold you back. Especially if you've tried so many times before. I actually have a whole module on the fear of failure in my one-to-one coaching, because that comes up so often, and it's totally valid as well. If you are someone that's been stuck in these cycles, is of course you're going to have that fear of failure, because it's been there in the background. But what we need to do is start flipping that and looking at actually what you're doing differently and what you can do, and there will be. And that's what I help so much in my clients. I'm like, because they start getting in their head, I can see the spirals happening, I'm like, hang on, just take a breath, actually look at what you've achieved. It's so important. Reflection, I always talk about reflection, but it's so important. But yeah, if you're stuck in that like nothing works for me, like that comparison trap, it can have like a massive impact on you being able to move forwards and actually breaking a cycle. And of course it's scary to try something completely new, because we have the fear of the unknown. But sometimes it's that doing something new that's going to break out of old habits. You can't keep going back to the same thing expecting a different result. That's the end of it. And I know I talk to a lot of people go like, well, that diet did work. I was like, but then I've put on X amount of weight, and it's like, well, did it work then? It only worked for the time that you did it, but it's not sustainable. So if you're going back to it again, expecting a sustainable result, you see where I'm going with this. Yeah, you can't keep going back to the same thing and expecting a different result. But it feels safe because it's known, and stepping into the unknown is a bit scary. But, it's not, there's nothing this is like a human trait. It's not anything to do with your, like, I guess, like, what am I trying to say here? Like, we just go back to what's known, and it feels easy, and it feels like, well, I know what to do here, I know what to do, how I can get past this, or whatever it may be. But actually, when you come to it, you end up with the same result. But that doesn't mean it's anything about you or your personality. It's just how we act as humans. And especially when you're so, you are amazing and capable, and you can absolutely do this with the right support. And you can break these cycles, because if you look at your life around everything that you've overcome, but this is like one thing that's keeping you stuck, what is it that's actually holding you back? So why this keeps happening. Let's talk about why this keeps happening, because I know I've talked about this a lot, and I know I talk about like the research behind it around those of us that have been exposed to the thin ideal are more likely to be stuck in yo-yo cycles and have a negative outlook on our bodies. And then when you are stuck in those cycles, diet culture does teach extremes as well. If you look back about diet culture, what we grew up with, very black and white thinking, like this is good, this is bad, shouldn't have this, you should do this. And it's all very like all of it is very all or nothing. There's no grey out like areas. So we were always taught that this is how you had to be. Food was good, food was bad. You were praised for like losing weight. People commented on your body, even if you lost it in a way that was like through illness or through stress or through grief. You know, there was this like, if you lost weight, people praised you for it. So we were taught that that was something to hold on to, but there was never like any teaching around this, around the emotional awareness. There was no teachings about consistency without perfection. There's like, it's just this all or nothing. Like you're either on a diet or off a diet, and which that's why I don't like the word diet so much as well. That's why I say nutritional guidance, because it's about foundation. I don't want my clients to ever feel like they're on a diet. And actually, a lot of them come to me and say, like, I don't, which is great. I don't ever feel like I'm on a diet. A diet should just be what you eat on a day to day, not about restriction or eating like as little as possible. Like, this is where this all or nothing has come from. Like, it's diet culture that has taught us that, and it's brought us to yo-yo dietings. And it's not just our generation, it's the generations before us as well. And especially with women, we've been taught that this is how it needs to be, but it doesn't, because none of this teaches you sustainability and longevity. All it does is teach you you're good when you're on it, and you're bad when you're like, off track or eating certain foods. There is no morality for food, okay? All food has its place. I eat chocolate most days, and I feel good about it, because I'm not letting diet culture teach me that that's bad anymore, because all food has its place. And yes, sometimes it does bring you comfort and it does bring you joy. There's nothing wrong with that. And why should you be made to feel bad about it? But this all or nothing like approach as well, it is not a personality flaw, okay? It is what we've learned. It's exactly what we've learned through diet culture. Same with yo-yo dieting as well. And like I said before, like it's what happens when you rely on like the willpower, the discipline or motivation instead of actual structure and mindset work. There is like, I forgot the word. My mind is gone now with the word, but we only have a limited supply of like willpower, discipline and motivation. They should not be something you rely on. You should be able to have like things in place when they aren't there. I will tell you now, there are times that I do not want to go to the gym in the morning. I am not motivated, but it's a habit, and I have certain strategies to help me get through it. It's the same strategies that I help with my clients with giving options around exercise. Like you don't have to go in and do an hour grueling workout. Like just go and do something that's keeping up the consistency. That is key, and that's what you can do when motivation is low. So you don't need more discipline. You don't need more willpower. This is about a different approach. Because what happens if you do stay stuck? And I want you to really think about this. This is something that comes up like when I speak to people. I'm like, what is this cycle actually costing you? I don't mean in money terms. I mean in energy, in confidence, in your social freedom, in your relationships, because it can affect your relationships around you, not just with yourself, which obviously it does. It affects your time. Think about how being stuck in cycles, like what is the cost? what is it cost? There might be money in here too, like if you are buying plans like over the years as well. But most of this, I really want you to think about the emotional side, energy, confidence, the social freedom, like missing out on social events or not being present in social events because you're too worried about thinking about food. Your relationships, those around you, how is it affecting those around you? How is it affecting your relationship with yourself? How is it affecting your time? How much time are you spending worrying about this? Because if you think about like what the question I asked you at the beginning about 6 months, if you think about like if you took steps and you took changes now to a different approach, in 6 months' time, you could be in the same cycle starting again, or you could be someone that actually trusts herself. Imagine that. In 6 months' time, imagine if you were free from the cycle, having your energy back, not thinking about food or your body 24/7, actually being present, being confident in yourself. And it sounds a dream, I know, but I've seen so many women go through it, and it does work. So I want to talk about, like, obviously, like, I help people with this all the time, and it is a different approach. I've actually, like, just launched the early bird for my Misfit, which is all about breaking cycles and the perfectionist mindset. So it's learning how to regulate your energy, emotional eating, all that kind of stuff, instead of restricting. I don't encourage restriction at all. I don't give diet plans or meal plans. This is all about guidance and education, talking about like the nutritional foundations, which I have lots of resources for. But yeah, with emotional eating does come into this as well. If we go back to why you can be stuck in cycles, if you have stressful job, stressful life, we want that self-soothing, and we need to understand the emotional triggers. We need to understand the difference between psychological hunger and physical hunger as well, and being able to ride that wave out, I guess. And once you understand that, again, that would break the cycle, because at the moment you don't have anything to help you when that emotional, I guess, the emotional trigger comes in, because that's why you keep going back to square one. There's also like the consistency around it. Like I talked, this isn't about willpower or discipline, but it's building consistency that even survives a bad day. I was actually just listening to a podcast with James Clear, the guy that wrote Atomic Habits, and he talks about this. I was like, oh, this is exactly what I talk about in my program as well. People think consistency needs to be that you need to be doing the same thing every single day. I'm going to the gym 3 days a week. Each time is going to be an hour. But that is like that consistency doesn't look like that. Sometimes it's just showing up when you've got 10 minutes, but you're still showing up for that habit. That's what you need to do to create this. So that's why you help, it's learning how to build a consistency that survives that. Removing food guilt is a big one. Like something I really practice with my clients is being able to remove the guilt and the shame around food, because all food does have its place. Why should you feel guilty about having a birthday cake with your daughter on her birthday? That's something about connection. Why should you feel like, going on a date night or a meal out with your girls, and having a good time? Why should you feel guilty about that enjoyment? And that should be part of your life. Whatever it is, whatever your values are, and whatever that connection is, there shouldn't be this shame and guilt around it. Also looking at the strength training for empowerment and not punishment. So looking at actually how you build exercise in to help improve your life and make you feel more energetic, and not trying to push through when you're already exhausted. It's that balance. The biggest thing is about having that structure without obsession as well. So not going all in, all off, all in, all out kind of thing. But and not getting obsessed by it, not by the numbers, not by exercise, but just having a nice structure that feels calm. That's how I like to describe, because I remember when I was in my obsession mood, especially my 20s, I think that's probably when I had the most with exercise and food. And it was an obsession. I used to feel guilty if I missed a gym workout, and I'd spiral, and then I'd be like, well, now I've got to go like and do more. I've got to go sweat out more because I miss one. And it's just all consuming is the only way I can describe it. So just, we want to remove that. Like I said, I know how it feels to be there. I honestly do. And this is why I created so much in my programs to be able to help break this, because I really care about you breaking it, because I know how and it feels impossible when you're in it. It's like, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can get there. And I've honestly had like women that have taken a few months of thinking about signing up to me, and when they do, they're like, oh, wish I did this sooner, because now I feel so much better. I feel free. I'm not worried about food anymore. I'm consistent, but it doesn't feel like hard work. It's not a chore. That's what it should get like. It should be something you do, not another thing on your plate. This is what your health and fitness should feel like, okay? Like, it should just be part of your life, not feel like a chore and a slog, which it will do if you're punishing yourself through it. Believe me, been there. We also need to make sure we're reframing that failure, because the fear of failure is holding you back, stopping you from taking that next step. And it's scary stepping into the unknown. But failures are, it sounds so cheesy, and I've said this before on another podcast, failures are opportunities to learn. If you're not failing, it means you're not trying. It means you're not experiencing. It means you're not exploring. And that's how I like to teach my clients as well. We don't say, we're going to try things. We're like, we're going to explore this. Let's explore this technique or this structure. It might not work the first time, and that's okay. But we can take what did work from this and what can we change. Because if you're not failing, you're not even trying. But it's how to reframe around the failures and actually have structure and support on how to move past them. That comes with, building up a level of resilience. That's the word I was looking for. But, this isn't just about a behaviour change. This is a identity change. So like I mentioned, I've got my Misfit group, like coaching, I can't speak now, Misfit Club group coaching starting on the 2nd of March. This isn't another diet program. This isn't just, here's a workout plan, here's a diet plan. No, it's not a 6-week shred. It's not just try harder. It's mindset work. It's emotional awareness. It's sustainable movement. It's learning about how to nourish yourself without extremes. Like I said, I teach about the nutritional foundations. I give example meal plans, talk about why it's important to hit certain, fruit, veg, proteins, all that kind of stuff, and give you some examples around it. You've got a selection of workouts to choose from as well, what suits you. But this is about the accountability, and it's about the community of women who are done with the cycle. So this is for the woman who has tried everything, that you're tired of restarting, the woman who's scared to, start something new because she's failed before. This is for the woman that wants that freedom and not just weight loss. So do you want to be where you are in 3 months' time? The only way something changes if you change something. And that step doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't have to be as massive right, that's it, I'm going to overhaul my whole life, because that doesn't work. That's going back into all or nothing thinking. It just needs to be intentional. So if you're interested in any coaching, because I've got my one-to-one open as well at the moment, or you're ready to join a Misfit Club group coaching, then I will have the link below the show notes. And I'll look forward to hearing from you. Got any questions at all, please feel free to reach out. I'd love to have a chat. I'll speak to you soon.